Will Smiles from Black Film TV, season 3 finale for now. You know, coming in, obviously, you never know with TV these days. Some people say, hey, let's keep it going. Let's just get a spinoff. Who knows, But Ashton, throughout the whole season, was Rza ever happy? It's always seemed stressful.
Yeah, I think Rza was happy. I think like Rza was just the brains of the operation. And so you have to be a little more serious than everybody else. He was the glue holding everybody together. So, when you're the boss, you don't want everybody to see you have a drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think for me, in my interpretation of taking that on, he was the glue. So there were moments, like we see moments with him and his girl finally in season 3. And those are the moments in which we see his most vulnerable side, like where he shares his emotions about what's going on, how he does feel. But with the guys, it is a little different. He has to take on a kind of like a big brother role, kind of like a leadership role. But yeah, I think Rza was very happy with the success of Wu-Tang. It would be weird if he wasn't,
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Shameik, obviously, we've been waiting for this making of the album that we all grew up and watched and loved. How much of a fan were you before or after, through the series? Did you know about the album? Did you play the album before you started doing the show?
Not before the show, but as I was doing it, like the first season, I was listening to 36 Chambers. The second season, yeah, it was 36 Chambers still, I'm pretty sure. And then the third season, I finally hit Cuban Links. And
so you never listened to Cuban Links before that?
I mean, I heard it, but not the way, like, not the way you were, like, y'all generation was listening to it, like, being able to recite it and have memories about the first time you seen the purple tape in the streets. And how many people come up to me with them stories? I don't want to mislead anybody to think now I could have a conversation, but like, I didn't have that relationship with that album until I was filming, until it made sense for me to have that relationship with that album.
As we're entering this last season, what do you want people to get from watching this show and from knowing that these people are still alive? Because these are personalities that's still around. People see these guys on the streets, and for some of these people who are not old enough to remember, but they're young, and I'm sure there are some liberties taken with some characters and so forth. But what do you want people to get out from watching this show? Ashton?
I think the success of the show in general has been, like Shameik said, we grew up in a generation where like we knew about the Wu-Tang Clan, but we weren't like in it. So I think that we've reintroduced like the Wu-Tang Clan to like a different generation. And also with the old hip hop heads, like they get what they get. I think that the show is like this season in particular is going to do something special, showcasing everybody's individual like character. We get into individual albums. We have like one-off episodes where like one episode is focused on like one album in particular and like the making of that. So I think like like we get like more into like the heads of who these people are individually. Like first season, we got into the head of Rza a lot, second season Rza a lot. I feel like this last season, we get to know who these guys are actually as individuals and not just as like a group. And it's different, like they're like at like the height of their careers, so they're dealing with fame. They're dealing with money. They're dealing with tours, like they're no longer in Staten Island, like in the hood, so it's just different. It's just a different narrative. You know what I'm saying? But I think, I think it's going to be good. People will enjoy it.
From Mario to other directors, each of you have had other projects outside of the Wu, but for this particular show, for 3 seasons, you've worked with different people. You guys have worked together. How have you grown as actors and your skill set? Shameik?
I got to learn from these guys, man. Like with Ashton, I said this in a few times. I just think he's really good with speaking up for himself first and foremost. Like he's very good with that. And if he has a vision, he communicates it. I learned that, like, how he moves on the set and whatnot. Like, people don't play with Ashton time. It's just like when Ashton come to set, like he be getting them together. Like, I'm not here to play with y'all. Like, So I definitely love that, and his meticulousness about, like, his character. You know what I mean? What he looks like, how he feels when he's performing his lines and etc. How he sets it up for him to win. Like, I can put myself. I have empathy. I can see it from everybody. So I have respect for Ashton. I learned from him in those ways. The same thing with like Siddiq, for instance, or like or Elijah, Julian. Like they, these are guys that went to school for it. As you went to school for it too, right?
Yeah, but I had to leave because Moonlight.
Oh, right. So. Yeah. I was kicked out of acting class, so and these guys, they come very like Elijah. It's almost like he's like book perfect with his lines. Like it's like he very professional actors, coming from the stage and whatnot. So I was able to learn, like, okay, cool. Like I just looked around and I saw what got everybody there, and I was able to digest that and appreciate it from everybody. And I think the most development that happened on me, I think, was being more of a team player. I think when I did Dope, not to take up all your time, when I did Dope, it was like, Shameik, we need you to be like this. We need you. This is how you are a leading man on a set, Like the directors and the producers and stuff are just on my back, and they brought the best out of me. So when you're leading something, Ashton can speak to this. It's like you're the lead, like you're leading it. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I got here, when I did anything, I went to the get down. Like, yeah, this is my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I went everywhere like that. Like, this is my shit. I'm here. This is my shit. And when I got to this group of young men, it was just like, you can't act like that with Ashton Sanders, with Dave East, you know what I'm saying? Or any of these boys. It's just like, you can't, because then it's like friction, you know what I'm saying? You can't act like that with them. You have to have respect, and you do have respect. So no matter who your character is that you're playing or for me, it was like a conversation with myself. It's like, and it took them telling me about it. Like, you're making it uncomfortable. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not to like cut you off, but the first time I like had a conversation with Shameik was at a dinner, and him and I got into it immediately. Immediately, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was crazy. But yeah. I think like all of that, we're all so different as individuals, just like the clan, and I think that's what makes the show so authentic. Yeah, we're putting on these characters, but on and off camera, we was probably going through the same shit that they were actually probably going through, like just in like a more minuscule way, because we're shooting a TV show, right? This isn't like a real like hip hop, like collective. But nonetheless, I think those moments kind of make the work more like nuanced, more like locked in, more like makes it feel more real. You know what I'm saying? And
I have to add on to this, Ash. We met at the Vanity Fair party. Remember?
Okay,
we were feeling good.
Okay, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah, but I didn't really like. Actually, nah, but you was feeling yourself then, though. Like, you feel me? So you was on Dope. You was feeling yourself. Like Moonlight was just coming out for me. So I was like, all right, cool. But I like knew the type of personality you were before we even started shooting Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? But I was always a fan, you know, like always wanted to work with you. When Dope came out, that was like the dopest fucking like movie of all time. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, you know.
Gentlemen, it's been great. It's been fun. Let's keep it up. Obviously, you each have, I've seen you in other projects. You'll continue to work on other projects. We'll talk down the road. Wherever you guys are at, stay safe. Congrats again. Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. We're here, final season. You know, are we going to get all we need to get from the characters you're playing? Siddiq?
Yes, I mean, y'all are gonna see Ghostface Killer turn into Ghostface Killer finally. You know, from Dennis to D Lover to, you know, Ghost. I think that we end on in such a beautiful way that's about family and progress and success. So I think the audience is gonna love what they see this season.
What about you, Zolee? You know, seems to be like you're supposed to be the person with the right sound of mind to everybody else. You know, like you're supposed to be the caregiver out here.
Yeah, and I think that Cherie really turns that up this last season, and goes out with a bang. You know, because as the guys are continuing to grow, so is she, and I think we might see her take that to the extreme this season, caring so much, and what does that look like? So yeah, you're just gonna see some mature people this season. Like we have truly developed into who we truly are. So it leaves y'all with a great sense of who these people are, like a great ending.
You know, when I spoke to Shameik, he was just now getting into Raekwon's first album. You know, like he didn't hear it before. What about you, Siddiq? Let's keep it now. Let's keep it real. Did you listen to it before the show, during the show, or after the show?
I think a little bit of both during and after. I think for me, you know, I've said before that listening to the music was important, but I also didn't want to jump the gun. So I think that in order to play, you know, the circumstances truthfully, I think it was important for me to stay on track. So if we were working on this aspect of their lives, I didn't want to listen to their last, you know, album or you know, I just kind of wanted to let it flow naturally. And then of course, in between times, I was listening to the music and trying to find more clues about who Ghost was and how he was growing up and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of both, truthfully.
But even before the show, were you a Wu-Tang fan to, you know, like, you think about it. As the older we are, we start listening to songs of yesteryear, you know, saying, hey, whether it be Smokey Robinson or whatever, you know? So like, you know, were you a Wu-Tang fan? Had you heard of the album before? You know, because it's always known, people have those circles like name the 5 albums you'll need when you're going on an island. You say?
I mean, I definitely have heard of the, you know, Wu-Tang, obviously, Ghostface Killer specifically, and Method Man, growing up in Brooklyn, New York. So yeah, I knew their music, but I obviously didn't know it, or not obviously, excuse me, but like I didn't know it to the extent that I know it now. That's what I will say. I was aware of them. They were on my radar. I love hip hop. I love hip hop music, but now I know more about their story, the lyrics, and what they actually mean, because I've gone through on film some of these stories, you know, and what they mean. So yeah.
Each of you have done other projects, but obviously this is the one a lot of people have seen you in because it's a series. They've seen you 3 seasons. You've worked with different directors. What do you get from working with the different directors on this particular show that has helped your skill set as an actor as you move on to other projects? Zolee?
Yeah, I mean, I always think about working with Mario Van Peebles. I love Mario. He's so much fun to work with because he's a people person, and he always tells us on set, like, I'm an actor as well. I'm not just a director. So he comes in knowing what he wants and how he wants it from so many different angles. And he always, you know, when we would speak, he would always tell me, like, you are here to make people feel something. So in any way that you can evoke that, like, we're here to tell a story, make people feel something, you know? So I really enjoy directors who are down to earth people, and like can critique or whatever it is that they need to get from us. You know, you don't have to just come in and be like, 1 + 1 = 2. Let's get the scene done. But I like people, you know?
What about you, Siddiq? What did you pick up from working with these directors?
I think the most important thing that I picked up was the ability to have ownership over my character. with having a new director every episode or almost every episode across 3 seasons, there's an ownership that I have to take over this character, this house, this set, how it's run, you know, because you may be here for 10 days, but after them 10 days, you gone and it's a new person, you know what I'm saying? So I've had times where, you know, a director may have tried to sit me at a part of the table. And I was like, well, I wouldn't be sitting at this part. I wouldn't sit at the head of the table if it's not my house. You feel me? And having those conversations, because like as I grow with the character, nobody knows my character better than I do. It, you know, respectfully, it doesn't matter if you're a director or producer or whatever, or writer even. I have to have ownership over the character. So I think working with so many different directors gave me the beauty to kind of tap into different aspects of who Ghost was, but then also be like, me, Siddiq, as the artist, I have to have ownership over this. Otherwise, it's just gonna fly and float away and do whatever it does. And it can't be that malleable from the outside perspective. It can be malleable for what I do with the role, but I can't allow too many other people to kind of put their hands in my, in my stuff and just shake it up. And then I'm kind of like lost about what's going on. I have to know what's going on.
You guys did well. Congrats on the series. Obviously, I'll talk to you guys down the road on other projects you'll be working on. Keep it going on. Wherever you guys are at, stay safe. Take care.
Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you.
Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. It's the 3rd and final season. Did you feel like you got everything you needed to have so that your story is told rightly, Rza?
Yeah, we definitely got a lot, and we got the part of the story that we shared. We feel very confident that we captured enough information. But 30 hours dealing with 30 years, it's a different equation. But we feel real proud of our work.
What about you, Alex? What was going into when you knew there was going to be a 3rd and final one? Was it? Did you know ahead of time, or was it already planned out? And it was already mapped out, or did you have to speed everything along to get everything in for the 3rd season and 3rd and final season?
No, I mean, they told us before we started writing. I think what was really great about it is that, except for like the end, we actually, and Rza, you could chime in if maybe you remember it differently. We still did most of the things that we would have done, we wanted to do in the 3rd season. It just, all we had to do was kind of adjust how, I would say, maybe the last 2 episodes were, it being the series finale. But as far as the bulk of the season, it covered the stuff that, we had intended to cover. And I mean, the good thing about, our partnership and working, what we thought we were going to do from the beginning, from season 1 until now, actually has been pretty intact. Would you agree, Rza?
Definitely. The only difference is, have you seen season 3 yet?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Well, but I think, you only seen up to 8, right?
Yes.
They only give you 8 episodes. Yeah, that's right. They didn't. The last 2, they haven't seen the last 2 yet.
Well,
you
seen that? Sorry, you see our episode? You seen episode 3?
Yes.
Okay,
so fire. Just kidding. So,
if this wasn't the final season, then maybe that would have been a 2-hour episode. You see what I mean? We would have kept, the way we wanted to tell the stories. We talked about it from the beginning, and we did all that, and we didn't feel like we had to rush. Sometimes, you add water to the soup. You know what I mean? And this time, we didn't have to add water to the soup at all.
As I look through the series, I'm always like, I asked Ashton, like, yo, Rza is never happy. The pressure is like Zeus trying to hold everything together. Is that you were like, was it like that? Were you ever smiling? It was like, got to keep the eye on the prize. Everybody's trying to do their own thing. I'm trying to navigate it before it all goes away.
Well, in all reality, go find 10 pictures of those 20 years of me smiling. You won't find it. Mm-hmm. You see me smiling later on in life.
When you're putting this together this last season, and sometimes some of the episodes devoted on the making of this album or that album, was that challenging putting that together instead of focusing on everybody all at once?
No, what the cool thing is that me, Alex, and a team of writers, first of all, we had a great talent team, right? With all personalities and approaches as well as creatives. And then when we're able to look at these individual albums and tell the stories behind them in an allegorical way. It was just pure energetic flow. And in the real process of creating those albums, the difference is that if nobody don't know the Wu members, I know them. You know what I mean? Like, I know that Ray and Ghost was going to match before they knew they could match. I know that Jizza would attract a lot of the college kids before he may have known that. You know what I mean? So the blessing of foresight, artistic foresight, was a gift that befell me, and I was able to utilize it and manifest the Wu-Tang Clan, of course. And here now, as we doing it with our show, once again, a great team of people, a great partner, a great outlet. It's just like, with all those elements, it's really hard to lose artistically.
Before I wrap up, Alex, do you think you could be a spinoff on any of these individuals? Whether be Rza by himself, whether it be Method, Ghostface, you know, so all these characters have a life story, you know, and could there be a spinoff on any one of these guys?
Easily. You know, as Rza always says, the saga continues. You know what I mean? There's plenty material there still to be worked with, you know, if we all collectively go down that path.
Congratulations on a good season, a good series. You know, let's keep working. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are working on other projects down the road. We'll talk again. See you soon. Take care.
Thank you.